Hello students, welcome to English class. Today I am going to give you the explanation from your Prime English lesson number 10. Lesson name is Springing to Action. Student, basically it's a poem and I would like to give you the introduction of a poet who has written this poem. Now, first we will have a little intro about Syria Beryl, who has written this beautiful and scientific poem. She is born in the year 1950. She is an internationally published Australian poet and writer born in England. Yes, she is famous for her series of science rhymes that are also part of Irish and Australian high school curriculums. She also contributes regularly to Australia's CSIRO children's magazine. 34 of her famous poems have been published in the book titled Celia Beryl's Science Rhymes. Yes, students, she is famous for writing a scientific poem, and by this she makes a student study about the poem in an enjoyable way and can understand small things related to science in a easy way. Now, this poem can state the obvious without making us feel foolish. And can you see the pictures? It's shown in this page. There's screw, zip, button cell, and Velcro. Now, look at these items. They have multiple uses. Can you tell me the different types of uses? Please, in your book, everyone got this picture, you all will mention at least two uses of this screw, button cell, zip and velcro in your book. Now student, let's begin with the explanation of the poem. uh, Let us read a poem that talks about the different meaning of the word spring and the many different uses of a spring. Now the very first stanza I'm going to read for you all with a proper explanation. Springing is such an active word, you can hear it gathering up its force, ready to burst out a kind of ping, releasing its energy on a course. Now, student, can you see the picture? And I hope everybody has seen spring and what is the use of spring and what is all about spring. Spring is in such an active word. Now here poet is saying that spring is such an active verb because whenever you press the spring now, it immediately comes out and go. You must have seen it goes up and down. So this by this way poet is saying that it is such an active word. You can hear it gathering up its force. Now you can see when you press the spring downward, then with a force it comes upward. Now ready to burst out a kind of ping, ready to burst out kind of ping means it comes directly to the forceful way. Now this is a kind of scientific way to understand this poem also, and it also states without making us, the poet is keeping our mind in a proper way and not making us fool. He is explaining the spring in a poetic way. Releasing is the energy on a course. Now when you put down, then immediately it comes upward. So this is the explanation of the very first stanza. And now let's move to next stanza. It's the name we give to the season when. Now basically spring is also the another name of season, and spring is also the name of small instrument used in, in your pen also. Have you ever opened your pen? You must have seen that spring, एक रिफिल एक स्प्रिंग से लगा रहता है. So that kind of, that is the, when you up and down that pen ending part, then you will find that what is the use of that spring. In your sofa also there is a spring. That bunchy and spongy thing happen in your sofa is just because of spring only. So here the poet is saying that it is also the name given to the season also. All living things gear up to abound. Abound, student, means abundant, means all living things gear up to abundant. Now together they can explore and comparison between familiar and unfamiliar ideas. Over here we use it to label a water source that pushing its way through the spongy ground. Now when when you watered some kind of area, then also you use a kind of a pressure. you push that spongy, you push that spring, then that water comes with a pressure. So these are the, these are the multiple uses of a spring which poet is explaining through a poetic way. Now let's come to the next stanza. It's also the name we give a device. Now it is also the name of a device that bends and moves but will not crack. A that can be bent, that can be moved, but it will never crack. You can see in the picture, this is the device only. It's often metallic and flexible. It is made up of metal and it is flexible. Yes, student, it is flexible. You must have seen spring, it is flexible also. If it's pushed or pulled, it does the same back. If you push also, if you pull also, it comes in the same position. Now in these lines, poet is explaining the use of this device. Now, in each stanza, student, you have to keep this in mind that in the very first stanza, she is explaining about the activeness of spring and what is the use of spring. In the second stanza, poet is explaining about the, comparing the spring to the season. Now she is telling spring in the form of season. And in the third stanza, she is explaining spring as a device. Now let's come to the fourth stanza. A spring isn't always a coiled up wire, it could be a curve or V shaped bend. Now, here poet is saying that it's not always spring is coiled up like which they have shown in picture. It could be a curve also and it can be V shaped also. Like a bow that shoots arrow through the air. Have you seen that shooting arrow? Yes, that shooting arrow is, is having a curve shape. So, or a pair of tweezers with open ends. You know what is tweezer? Tweezer is a tool used for picking up small things or plucking out hair. That, some kind of plucker. You can say plucker, which girls use to maintain their eyebrows. So, that is of V shape. If somebody in your home is having that plucker, then you can see that that spring is kind of a V shape. So tweezer is of V shape and that arrow is of curve shape. So springs are having different shape and sizes. Now let's come to the next stanza, student. A spring can be made from a plastic mold, a blister or mold or a curvy dome. Means a spring can be made from a plastic mold, from a blister or a mold or a curvy dome. Means it can be made from, different material. It's not important that it's made of metal only. It can be made from plastic, blister, curvy dome or anything. They are hidden in keyboard for typing things. If you have seen in your, if you are having desktop, then you must have seen your keyboard. It's having, clicking click when you type something. So they are having the hidden spring or used on the pad of a mobile phone. When you use on the pad of your mobile phone, there is one button type of phone when we are using earlier. Then on that mobile phone we are having this kind of spring, hidden spring keypad. Now let's come to the very last stanza. Please understand thoroughly. This poem is quite easy and scientific also, and we have to understand each and every line so that you can enjoy learning science while reading a poem. A pen you can click, a used paper clip, pen. I have given you example of pen earlier only, that when you click on pen, then there is a hidden, hidden inside there is a spring. I use paper clip, there is a, paper clip. It's of having, writing pad on which you give your exam. Then that is also having a spring. A clock that goes tick, a peg you can grip. Means, have you seen the clock is also having a kind of spring. A doorknob that twists, there is a doorknob, when you open and close the door and automatically it's get back to its original position. They are also having spring. A bike bell that rings, bike, everyone must be having bike in their home. Then there is a, there is a ring and sound and bell that is also having a hidden spring. It's likely they have all got some kind of springing. Now here poet is saying that spring is used in all our daily life. It's only like that we have never noticed. So what you have to do, student, today you all will notice what what all other things in your home are made from spring only. Now here poet is, poet is creating create a bizarre and amusing mnemonics, means she's creating a, interesting facts also, and each stanza provide a secure framework, making new science concepts easy to take in, easy to understand. And the rhyme of the poem, think anticipating the next rhyming word, it's a, rhyming poem also. And poetry can be read and recited easily. Now I think student, I you have understood with the poem. This is a simple scientific and logical poem, you can say. And I hope you have understood with the poem. So thank you so much. Please keep on watching my PPT as well along my video, so that you all should be clear with my question answers and the facts and ready for upcoming exams. Thank you and have a good day.